Hi, everyone, and welcome to Youth Amplified,
a podcast that inspires, empowers, and connects.
I'm Ronna.
And I'm Brian. And in the spotlight today, the inclusion illusion, challenging the norms.
We're joined around the table by Simone, Alexander, and founder of Moving Forward Together, Ernie Friedlander. So let's dive right in.
Absolutely. What a great panel we've got today, Ronna. And since Simone's just next to me, I'm going to start off with her. Simone, tell me, do you think inclusion today is real or just something people say to look good?
I think in certain circumstances that to some people it's tokenistic and others, they really mean it. Like in schools will say it's really inclusive, but some of the, in my experience, some of the girls, they all have their in-groups, so it's hard to feel included when they already have their in-groups.
Now, Alex, let's go to you, Alexander. Have you ever been included and still felt like you didn't belong?
Yeah, I felt like that when I first stepped into UTS for my Juris Doctor degree, because it's my post-grad, but I'm sharing the same classes as other students who are doing law undergrads. Because I understand inclusion sometimes revolves about cultural and stuff like that, but this is just my personal experience where I feel like I don't belong sometimes. Yeah.
You mentioned cultural inclusion as well, Alexander. Do you feel sometimes, you don't feel included in things?
Culturally wise?
Yeah.
Not really. I feel like at school, they've been like teachers have been taught other students to respect other people's culture and everything like that. I don't think I've actually got into a feeling where I feel like I don't belong. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
There are a few immature students here and there when I was younger, but that's just how it is, it's just kids being kids,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really, really good to hear, which actually brings me to my next question, Ronna, and that's for Ernie. Ernie, do you think educational institutions truly create inclusive spaces or just tick boxes?
I think both. And it depends a lot on the particular teacher and the particular direction. And it's actually a very, very contentious issue. I don't think people fully understand the value of being inclusive or being included, because there's a lot of division, and it's very important to try to get people to feel included and not to be overpowered.
Now, Simone, we're back to you. I'm really keen to hear if you ever had to change yourself to fit in.
Yes. Couple times actually. I feel like as I've noticed and grown, I've noticed not to change myself, because if the people you're friends with or who you're trying to change yourself for, if they really valued you as you are, you wouldn't have to change yourself. So as I've learned last year was a really hard time, just to stay true to myself and know that I don't need to fit everyone's expectations but my own. But yes, I did have to change myself, but I don't think everyone has to fit in.
Alexander, what do you think, talking about social media, do you think social media is helping genuine inclusion or just creating a fake version of it?
I think they are creating a genuine inclusion. I feel like a lot of people voice their opinions on social media, and that inspire other young people as well to feel like, oh yeah, I can express myself as well. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes it feels like you're alone in the world, you know what I mean? Or you're confused about something, and then you just look at social media and you can see like, wow, this person's like me. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not alone in that kind of situation. Sorry, an example I can bring up here is I'll talk behind the stage about the LGBTQ community. It's where, recently we have a social change where we accept people the way they are. Do you know what I mean? And that's with the whole community in general, the whole world. You know what I mean? Using social media to create awareness. Do you know what I mean? To voice their own opinions. So I feel like social media is creating genuine inclusion, for everyone.
Now, Ernie, what's a subtle way people exclude others without realizing it?
Yes, people sometimes are judgmental without really getting to know the person. And this is a problem by being prejudiced, or maybe not even wanting to be, but first impression. And some people believe they can judge a person immediately. And they may be right. But I think you need to give people a chance and to get to know them and have experience dealing with them and their intentions.
Simone, what do you think? Do you think fitting in is still more valued than standing out?
I do think it's more valued than standing out. It is easier. But I think in my case scenario, I don't really fit in at my school, but I don't really try to fuss about what other people think, because I know that not everyone's the same and you're not going to have the same interest as everyone else, and it doesn't matter because everyone can have their own interest and whatnot. So, and you find your own people along the way, because there will be someone else who shares the same interests, has the same experiences as you, and you don't need to fit in for that.
Okay, Ernie, we'll move to you. What do you think, what's something organizations or leaders get wrong about inclusion?
Where do we start? There's a lot of egos. And that people believe only their particular area is of value or relevant. That starts things going downhill. Being complacent, thinking only your way is the right way. So a lot more needs to be done for people to look, or try to get them to see the bigger picture, look beyond the narrow.
Yeah.
And see for the common good. And at the moment, there's such division. And it's tragic for organizations which are dragged along because for some influence, they think they need to toe the line. So how do we overcome it? I think we need to change the landscape for people to be appreciated for empathy, acceptance of differences, and genuinely care for other people.
Yeah, following to what he said, I 100% agree with you. I think the new generation of politics needs to be more open-minded, need to, be able to put the ego aside and, find out what's actually wrong, listen to people's opinion, listen to all sides, and find a middle ground where everyone agrees, where everyone is happy with, do you know what I mean? So not everyone is happy with a decision, but at least do it in a way where at least they feel like they're being acknowledged, you know what I mean? They feel like they're being heard. And
yeah, you're absolutely right. We got to listen. And sometimes we need to admit that we are wrong.
Thank you, Ernie.
Simone, what do you think makes a community feel genuinely inclusive? not just on the surface or ticking boxes, but genuinely inclusive?
I think the connection you have with that community. I come from a small community up north of Cairns, 3 hours north of Cairns, and I feel very included there. Like, I feel very at home, whereas in other communities, it doesn't feel the same.
See, there is also a community here that is very unique that both my parents really appreciate, because they're both from Vietnam, came here to live, and there's a suburb, Cabramatta. It's very Vietnamese dominated, so like it's occasionally sometimes because it's a long drive, we go there to church. In the church there is Vietnamese. Do you know what I mean? So like my parents really feel like home there. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so wonderful. And Alexander, let's stay with that. So being part of that community, and I'm sure we're all part of different communities, do you feel you have a voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't speak Vietnamese like very clearly because I'm very like westernized. But I feel like a lot of those Vietnamese people really understand my parents and myself as well. You know what I mean? And we have like Vietnamese traditions or languages that can't really translate in English, but they can understand what we mean. Do you know what I mean? And it's like our own community kind of thing that
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the flip side. And I'd like to go to you, Simone. Keen to hear your thoughts. What do you think happens when people feel excluded or disconnected?
I think that they lose their ways. And I think that, how do I explain? For example, I have a family member and I think she lost her ways. Because, I don't know how to explain it. Her children left, and then her son wasn't very nice to her eldest son, and she didn't have anyone. Her family didn't help her to stay with them while she had nowhere to go. She didn't really have anyone to hold her down, and so she lost her ways and she went on the track of addiction, and she's still fighting that now. But I think you lose your ways because you don't think anyone is looking after you or thinks that they love you because you have no one. And you have no one to tell, like, I need help. And you've already asked for help and you can't get that. So I think when you're excluded or you feel disconnected from everything, you lose your ways.
Thanks for sharing. It's really, so important to look at things overall. You've talked about feeling like you belong, and we can hear that you've got some really good insights around what it feels like when you feel like you don't belong and you're excluded. Thank you.
Yeah, that's such a great answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ernie, how do you think we move forward from just talking about inclusion to actually creating it? And you're out there doing this.
It's a struggle. But I think patience and perseverance and not letting yourself be downtrodden by it, and believe that most people are good people, and not to give up. And the hope keeps me going. That we can make and we should make a difference in changing people's attitude. And sadly, capitalism, with all its values of incentives and initiatives, led to a lot of greed. On the other hand, socialism has taken away the incentive, initiative, and led to a lot of corruption. So neither of these systems work. We really need to try to build up democracy with its flaws, to try for people to realize that for their children and for their grandchildren, they need to change their attitudes and their values.
Well, we could actually keep on talking about inclusion. I think it's such a big topic, and I know that we all have experiences that we can keep exploring, right? But it's time to wrap it all up. So thank you, Simone. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Ernie.
You're very welcome.
So till next fortnight, let's continue to inspire, empower, and connect. And remember,
Your voice matters.